On Monday, Dave Chappelle released a 5-minute clip on Instagram called Stunted. This will mark the first time we've heard from Chappelle addressing the backlash from his special from the LGBTQ+ community. In the video, Chappelle said he's willing to speak with the transgender employees at Netflix, but before he does, he has a few conditions of his own. Chappelle would end the clip by asking, "Am I canceled?" The audience responded, "Of course not." Today we have our company hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction and Pierre, calling in, along with a very special guest, comedian David A. Arnold, to talk about the latest developments surrounding the closer. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
You have to answer the question, am I canceled or not? Then let's go. Thank you very much and good night.
Now, I want to dive right into this. And David, being that you are our guest, I'm going to come to you first. What are your thoughts? A lot of people are saying that Dave Chappelle cannot be canceled. Why do you think Dave Chappelle can't be canceled?
Yeah, he can't be canceled because he's not tethered to anything that is brands or tethered to anybody that's sponsorship, which is probably one of the most powerful positions you can be in as an entertainer. This is a guy who has millions of dollars. He has hundreds of millions of followers and fans, and he is floating unattached. There's no Johnson & Johnson. There's no McDonald's. There's no Nike. There's nobody. That the way you cancel people is you take their money. You take their, you take what has plugged them into society. Dave doesn't have any of that. So what you gonna do? If Dave put up a stage in the middle of Crenshaw and start talking in the mic, thousands of people gonna gather around and listen to him talk. He got that power right now. So I think that he's right. You can't be canceled. People cannot watch, but I don't think that you can cancel somebody who's floating above the fringe right now. This dude is 100% in a different stratosphere. And I don't think as much, especially if he has as long as he has a platform like Netflix, that's going to allow him to share his free speech, which he's allowed to do.
Right. Now, I want to come to you next, Pierre. What are your thoughts? Why do you think Dave Chappelle can't be canceled?
The light-skinned brother hit it on the head and said exactly everything I wanted. I mean, that's why we look alike, So you got the hair, and I don't. But he's exactly right with it. There's nothing you could take away from Chappelle. Now, maybe if all outlets didn't want to show him anymore, let's say, venues wouldn't let him come to him no more, or Netflix. But you have to understand, everybody's not on the side of these LGBT people. Some people feel a certain way. And those are the people who people pull strings, feel like, hey, he has a right to talk about y'all or talk about whatever he wants to. And those are people like Ted Serrano's at Netflix or places that have venues. We all ain't all collectively agreeing with everything, or against him or for him. But the ones who are for him own certain things that will let him. They don't mind him speaking on their platform or their venues. So, like you said, cancel him is, like I said, is impossible. And that's the place you want to be. When I'm like that, I ain't got no brand, so you can't cancel my little $200 a week. Okay, except comedy hype take it from me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's gonna happen. We love you too much. Now I want to come to you next, Vanessa. What are your thoughts on same question to you? Why do you think Dave Chappelle can't be canceled?
Because he nor anyone else can, if you have the audience, as these two brothers have so eloquently said. And I think Dave Chappelle is doing exactly what he and others should do when you feel that you've said your piece and you're standing your ground and this is your freedom of speech. He's pleading his case. You know what I'm saying? He's letting his audience know what's going on. I didn't know that he wasn't being accepted at some of the festivals, for his documentary and such. And so he's letting his audience know at each turn what's going on with him so they can stay abreast. And then two, he's standing his ground. He's saying, look, I'm not changing what I'm saying. I believe in what I said. I have a right to say so, and then three, he's letting his audience decide. If you still rock with me, you know what I'm saying, then you will show up for me, you know what I mean, or what have you. And so luckily Dave Chappelle is in a situation where he's not in need of money, and he can also take his documentary out on tour, which I believe he's doing because he's coming to Atlanta in November, and he's showing his documentary, and I believe he's coming with some friends. So now you get a little extra, the extra of having music and so forth. And so those that have an ear, they can come and hear it. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that he nor anyone else, you know what I'm saying, when you have an audience that wants to hear you, all you have to do is be able to keep going and push your art to your people, and your people will come.
Right. Now, I do want to mention a couple things that he did say, and I want to read a quote because he talks about, as I mentioned earlier, that he's willing to meet with the transgender employees at Netflix. And this is what he said in the video. He said, "And if you want to meet with me, I am more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing at a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny." Now I'm going to come straight to you. Pierre. What are your thoughts about his conditions that he's laid out?
I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but he's winning this fight. And he's winning for a lot of us, to stand for his right, for his amendment to speak. People are trying to, from the LGBT plus community, are trying to hijack this moment to get their point across. And I think people are getting tired of it, because at the end of the day, Dave is not saying we don't like you, we don't hate you, we want something to happen to you. They're just trying to find something, their voice to be heard. And with that being said, he's saying, hey, if you want to get the whole other side that you think are against you or against the LGBTQ plus community, you need to talk to me in this situation. And I like his power position. He's saying, you come over here and talk to me. I done said what I had to say. You're not going to pull me down and make me feel a certain way. And I can do nothing but respect him for that. And if they want to get this together, I think it's been blown way out of proportion, to be honest with me. Way out of proportion, But when you have something you feel you want to speak on, you want to be heard, you push any button to make anything said. And I think that's what's happening with him. But I like the fact that he said, hey, here, I'll speak with you, which I always knew he would. But this is a situation. And I hope they come over and speak with him. I don't know who they are. That would come over to him. Is there a committee, a certain 10 of them that they can come over? I don't know what that is.
Now, Vanessa, I saw your reaction, so I'm very curious to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on those conditions?
I don't give a fuck. I just don't. I don't care if he talks to them or if he don't. I mean, if they don't rock with you, if they don't like you, you know what I'm saying? I agree with Pierre. It's kind of blown out of proportion. I feel like it's some inside stuff. Like I'm in on a private conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what? They don't like you. There's a million people that do. You know what I mean? So what? You don't understand them. There's a million people that, you know what I mean, you're getting along with and that do understand. And it's like, for me, I'm just so bored of it. If they, you know what I mean, if people don't, you have a freedom of speech. If people don't like exactly what you're saying, you know what I mean, they don't have to invite you to their festivals or what have you. They can cancel a concert, but the whole thing is just keep going. I don't feel like you have to keep beating this thing and trying to change hearts and minds. If you're saying that you don't have an issue with people, you know what I'm saying, and in your heart you don't, then you ain't got to prove it. You know what I mean? You don't have to keep trying to prove it, you know what I mean, or whatever. If they don't want to come to your shows, then they don't have to come to your shows. I don't understand this kumbaya ass moment. And it sounds like a bunch of rich ass problems. You know what I'm saying? Like your ego won't let it go, bro. Let it go.
Now, David, I am interested to get your insight, because I do know that you do have a Netflix special, Fat Ballerina, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But being that you do have that insight, I want to kind of get your thoughts on it. What are your thoughts about the list that he laid out in order to meet with transgender employees at Netflix? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, first of all, this very first condition, which I think was very important, which is to watch the special from the beginning to end, because we live in a world today where things can be taken out of context. If you cherry pick a sentence here or joke there and you reframe it around another narrative, you change the complete meaning of something. And Dave knows the importance of that. And we live in a society where people will indeed take 6 of the 10 things you said and connect them so they mean something different. So the fact that Dave is asking him to watch this special from the beginning to end, that he feels like that will, one, set up his argument and position that he's going to stand whenever they do meet. Where they meet and all him saying that he want to meet of his choice, I don't give a shit about that. It don't matter where they meet. Whether they meet at his house or they house in the Netflix office, don't nobody care. The other part is Dave as far as Gatsby and the admitting that Gatsby is not funny. That is Dave's format. Dave set that up the way he sets up all of his material. Dave will hit you with some hard facts and some poignant moments, and then he'll button everything with a gut-punching joke. That's exactly what he did now. You know what I mean? Now, it don't mean that Dave don't think that the comedian he called out is not funny. He can mean that shit, but at the end of the day, it's still a joke. You know what I mean? Like it's still a joke and it still falls in this format. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't know
sure.
who Hannah Gatsby is.
I gotta be honest with you. She don't know who I am, and I don't know who she is. So we both equal in life. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
I don't even
It
care.
don't matter. It don't even matter.
Like, it does not matter to me who she is. I'm sure she's somebody that obviously is of notoriety because Dave said her name. Fine. He thinks she ain't funny. He has the right to do that. I'm sure she think he ain't shit. So they
I was
both
about to
equally
say,
great.
is it okay for somebody to think can he admit that sometimes he's not so funny?
Yeah. So this is comedy. Everybody has a right to feel how they feel about comedy. But you can't complain and say, I want to be heard, but you don't want anybody to respond about the things that you're doing. You know, I don't have any problem with any community, with anybody and anything that they do and where you want to live. Live your life, be the way you want to be, but don't push your shit on the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like vegans. Vegans are the Jehovah's Witnesses of the dietary community. They always want everybody to be vegan. You know what I mean? And don't nobody want to be vegan. If we want to be vegan, we'll be vegan.
We'll be vegan.
To tell us. So I think that Dave having an opinion about this community and them trying to cancel him,
right?
It's going to be a standoff. It's not going to happen because they went after somebody who is basically, like I said earlier, floating above all of this shit. They could go after Louis C.K. the way they did, which was a different movement, but they took his TV show. They hit him in the pot.
But that was way different. Now you're seeing no words and saying something and spurting out semen are two different things. He has
completely different, but I'm saying that when you have something to take, is what I'm saying. Louis had shows to take. Dave ain't got nothing to take. And if Netflix don't put his shit on, guess what he gonna do? He gonna load it up on his YouTube channel, and guess what's gonna happen? That shit gonna blow up on YouTube. Yeah, because once you have the people, it's over.
And I think that's, was the purpose of it because, he, like you mentioned earlier, Vanessa, he is going on tour to release that documentary. So he's releasing it straight to his fans. Like you said, he knows his audience. He releases things straight to them. If he can't get a hold of someone else or, a network that wants to push it, Dave knows that, hey, I know my audience is going to rock with me and be with me all the way through. So, and mentioning that, I think I'll be the first to say straight to Dave, if there aren't other networks that are willing to, put forth an effort to release things to your audience, I open up the invitation from Comedy Hype. We, welcome you and all your truth because we're a platform of truth. So that's just kind of what we do. So I appreciate y'all as always. But before we head out, David, I want to start with you. So we used to do this thing where we went around and just talked about all the things that are coming up because y'all are always on the road, always busy. I know you have a few things, so I do want to open up that invitation before we close out. David, I mentioned earlier your Netflix special, Fat Ballerina. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Congratulations on all the success that's coming from that as well.
It was a special that I shot independently 2 years ago. I put the money up myself and gave it to Kevin Hart, who's a friend of mine. Kevin and my manager, Dave Becky, took it to Netflix and they bought it. And with that has just been, it came out literally the week before the pandemic happened. So everybody was stuck at home and had no choice but to watch everything. And it just killed. It just did great. And it led to another Netflix special that I'm taping now on January 29th. I'm in the middle of a 20-city tour. San Diego's this weekend at the American Comedy Club. I was telling Pierre, and Vanessa knows this too, as a comedian, I've been doing stand-up 27 years. And this is the first time that I'm selling out legitimately and people are coming to see me. I've never walked out on the stage before where every single head in that room came to see me. So it feels great.
Congrats and well-deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It really feels great because it's been a career of no. And now finally I took a bet on myself. I put almost all the money my family had up to finance that Netflix special and it's paid off for me. And
kudos to your family too.
Huh?
I said kudos to your family as well.
My wife,
you know what I mean?
Julie didn't blink. I was like, I want to do this. And she was like, take that money and go put that. She said, of course. She said, what's going to happen?
And congratulations. Now, I know you also have That Girl Lele with Will Packer. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Will Packer called me last year. We worked on a TV show that I also have on BET Plus called Bigger that I produced. And that's how I got to know Will. And Will called me. He was like, you guys, this little girl from YouTube named Lele, who is blown up out of Houston, rapping in a car with her dad, millions of followers. Mm-hmm. They showed me these videos of her and they were like, Nickelodeon wants to do a show with her. What do you think? And I gotta be honest with you, I've never thought about doing kids TV, wasn't interested. And when it came from Will, I was like, I'll do this so I can have a relationship with Will. And it was created by credit. It was, I own the show. I own a percentage of the show. So I wrote the show, I created it. And the show, I literally, while we're sitting here, we just got email. I just got another email of the ratings. Our 4th week just premiered, and we're officially #1 on the
network.
So congratulations!
Congratulations!
It's pretty dope, and
awesome.
I'm very happy for everybody involved, especially myself, because
I ain't mad at you.
Absolutely. Congratulations. We definitely love to hear it and see it. I want to pass the ball right over to you, Vanessa. What things do we have coming up and things that you're currently involved in?
Well, you talking to me or Pierre?
Vanessa, you baby.
Oh, I'm so excited for David, honey. I'm over here. Woo! Yeah, I didn't even hear. Congratulations sincerely, David. That is so freaking awesome. So well deserved, man. Just we go a long ways back, so I'm just rooting this. It's so beautiful and inspiring. Very inspiring. You can catch me on the Nappy Boy Radio Show with your boy T-Pain. I absolutely love T-Pain. He's super funny, and everybody love him. So catch us on the Nappy Boy Radio podcast. Follow me at Vanessa Fraction, of course. And I'm a certified self-defense instructor. And so I have some classes coming up. If you're a woman in Atlanta, but if you want a class, even coming to your city or what have you, DM me and I will set up a class. I have a class called Kicks and Comedy, where I teach self-defense and infuse comedy to bring that levity and make it a fun class. So
awesome. And to close us out, Mr. Pierre himself.
Of course. First of all, let me take a couple seconds to thank and just give kudos to my man Dave Arnold. I've known him for years. He's getting his shine now in front of the camera. A lot of people don't know his penmanship is nasty and his producing is nasty. So a lot of people didn't know that, but the boy has been working for a long time. But he's always wanted to be in front of the camera and get in front of the camera love. He's a stand-up at heart, I believe. And so now to see it happen, to come around, and he's starting to get it. I'm so happy for those fans who come out support him. He's been in, like I said, for a while. He said he's been in for a while, but he's been in there, and he's wanted his shine for a long time, and now he's put the work in, and the shine is coming. I saw his Netflix special. I ain't gonna lie. I said, let me get myself back down to writing some stuff, man, because he just showed me, another level of him that I've never really seen before. Because I only get to see him snippets of him when we do stand up together, little spots and stuff. But again, shout out to you, Dave. Continued success, brother. I sincerely mean that, man. And you're making us light-skinned brothers look good. So I need that. Damn it, Kevin Hart.
I ain't seen you at the meetings lately. They look.
Well, because you're high up. I'm at Netflix working. I mean, I'm at Comedy Hype working, brother. Okay, I ain't got no time right now. But all right, for me, if you want to see me live this Halloween weekend, Thursday through Sunday, I'm at the Atlanta Comedy Theater in Norcross. That's right, Atlanta. I'm coming to it. I'm doing my thizzle as I always do. One of the best premier comedy clubs in the country. Atlanta Comedy Theater in Norcross. Catch me there, or catch me on my YouTube, my PS Panic Room. We always have crazy good guests coming. This week's no different. We had Cammy from Total on last week. This week we got some good people, so keep supporting it. Thank you so much. My IG is Comic Pierre. I'm killing it on there. I'm acting a fool, and y'all coming through and watching it, and I appreciate that. And that's all I'm gonna say today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you all opening up and giving your insight on this topic, and a continued success to all of you. David, again, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time to step in.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Now you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Dave Chappelle's 5-minute clip on Instagram called Stunted? Let us know. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
You know what I'm saying? Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Congratulations, Dave.
Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your girl, Layla Fox for Comedy Pipe Radio. And I'm coming, to you that is, with another warm and special night. Something for the ladies and something for the fellas. This event will stimulate and vibrate depending on your needs. So meet me October 29th in Atlanta at Comedy Hype Studios for a sip and dicked night. Will you come?